Well, that's bringing back an old one. Self-inflicted wounds, always. Every time. Every time. Okay. Uh yeah, the law firm of Clown and Shoes. All right. Let's see. There's no such thing as a free lunch. At least that's the lesson that former President Donald Trump's supporters, aides, learned on Tuesday. Now, according to a report from Laine Doss of the Miami New Times, aides and supporters of Trump walked away hungry after a visit to the popular Versailles Café in Miami's Little Havana, following his arraignment on conspiracy and Espionage Act charges. So Trump had made this very highly publicized stop at this cafe after pleading not guilty before a Florida magistrate, where he was even serenaded by his fans, saying, "Happy birthday. Happy birthday." Now, that was the day before his birthday, and he proclaimed, quote, "food for everyone" to the cheering crowd. Now, normally, when you say, "hey, food for everybody," well, that generally means that the food's on you. You're paying for it. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe I don't quite understand. Um, maybe I don't understand, okay? Maybe I'm not getting it. Maybe for some reason, I think that when you say food for everyone, that means you're buying food for everyone, which would be a super nice, awesome thing to do. Very, very generous, which apparently that's not Trump. I guess when he said food for everyone, it means, yeah, as long as you can, order it and pay for it yourself, then there's food for everyone. Well, there you go. As Doss of the Miami New Times reports, quote, "it turns out no one got anything, not even a cafecito to go." A knowledgeable source assures the New Times that Donald Trump's stop at Versailles totaled about 10 minutes, leaving no time for anyone to eat anything, much less place an order. Oops. Oh, because of course. Did anyone actually ever expect Donald Trump to pay for anyone else's meal? Has that ever happened in the history of Donald Trump? Guy doesn't even pay his own bills. Why would anyone expect him to pay for someone else? By the way, total irony. Right after this, after he left the cafe, Trump went to a fancy dinner with his donors, paid for by, you guessed it, his donors. According to NBC News, former President Donald Trump met privately with more than 24 top donors and supporters Tuesday night for a candlelight dinner at his golf course in Bedminster, New Jersey. To get a seat at the meal, supporters had to raise or donate $100,000 towards his 2024 run for the White House, according to invitations to the event. Donors, according to one of the attendees, were able to, for the price of, again, low price of $100,000, were able to snack on some of Donald Trump's favorite meals, including crab cakes and hamburgers, while sipping on wine and cocktails. So Donald Trump has this dinner. Hey, food for everyone, right? And by everyone, I mean me, because you're paying for it. Right after promising food for everyone and delivering none of it. Look, I honestly, this is not a surprise to anybody, okay? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And yet, there are still people out there, his supporters, that are still surprised. That they actually believe this for a minute, that, oh, Donald Trump's going to buy us lunch? Wow. And wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be a generous, awesome thing to do? That'd be great. But no. I still, part of me says, I cannot quite believe how there are people out there that do not know that Donald Trump is a cheapskate. Now, I know the reason why. I know the reason why. We all knew the reason why. Look, right-wing media never talks about how Donald Trump doesn't pay his lawyers, doesn't pay his legal fees, doesn't pay cities for providing security for his events. He didn't pay the Freedom Girls from his 2016 campaign. They ended up having to sue. Donald Trump has been in court so many times has been sued for non-payment. And yet, people don't know. Right wing, they never heard about Donald Trump being notoriously cheap. And again, it's all because mainly right-wing media just completely ignores it. Doesn't talk about it whatsoever. And by the way, there are some people who have heard some things about Donald Trump, for example, not paying his taxes, right? But they think, genius move. Oh, you didn't pay your taxes? Genius. Wait, when he doesn't pay his taxes and when rich people don't pay their taxes, well, that means the tax burden gets shifted onto you, onto regular working people. So he's actually costing you money, costing you more. Just saying. That said, I think a lot of the people there were probably very surprised to find out that Donald Trump was lying and that he was indeed not paying for everyone's meal. But see, that's what you get from Donald Trump. Empty promises. He promises things like, the wall, for example, but never delivers. I mean, the wall, as I mentioned, never built, not a brick. Mexico didn't pay a cent. But the one thing he did deliver is for the people that actually mattered to him. And just like this story, where he goes to his donors, what he did for his donors and why they're okay with paying $100,000 for a seat to eat some crab cakes, with Donald Trump, is because the one victory he had was cutting taxes for himself and the donors in the room, the millionaires, the billionaires, the giant corporations. And he was able to do that permanently. He made the Bush tax cuts permanent for the rich. Oh, sure, you got some other tax cuts, ostensibly for the middle class. But guess what? Those have a sunset provision. But the ones for the rich, never. They'll always be in effect until they are repealed. And that's it. That's who Donald Trump is. That's what he cares about. Only helping himself at the expense of others.